is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can feel the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can feel the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Glad to have you here this morning. We're going to start today's gathering with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Each week, we are so blessed to have Deborah, our other guest speakers, Matt, Lori, and John, to be able to continue with our ministry here online. We ask you to share your appreciation through a love offering. Please take a moment now, if you're making an offering through Facebook, to go and click at the top of our page, the Learn More button, and then click the Donate button. If your offering is by check, please send it to Angels Landing, P.O. Box 100, Millbury, Ohio, 43447. Together with me, please say our tithing offering. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you for your continued support. Now we are going to listen to Lori and John.
Though I may speak with bravest fight and have the gift to all inspire and have not love, my words are vain as sounding brass and hopeless gain. Though I may give all I possess and striving so my love profess, but not be given my love within, the prophet soon turns strangely thin. Come, Spirit, come, our hearts control, our spirits long to be made whole.
Thank you, Lori, for the beautiful song. And John, I appreciate it. It's wonderful. Pat asked me to share this piece from the Daily Word. I share God's love, peace, and joy. While I treasure my times of quiet and solitude, I look forward to enjoying the company of family, friends, and members of my faith community. Whether we are working, volunteering, praying, or simply enjoying one another's company, our shared experiences allow me to support people I care about and feel supported in return. I enjoy and value togetherness throughout every season of my human journey. During times of trials, hardship, or grief, being in the company of friends and family helps to comfort me and keeps me strong. Likewise, during times of celebration, being in the company of others multiplies my joy. In times of togetherness, may the love, peace, comfort, and joy of God bless us all who believed, were together, and had all things in common. Acts 2, verse 44. It is my pleasure now to introduce Pat Newman.
And I, okay, there we are. Thank you, Melinda. Thank you, John and Lori, for the beautiful music. Always, it just really lifts everyone when we have such beautiful music. And, it is such a pleasure to be speaking in front of all of you. The only constraint is that I usually walk around and I am very animated and I'm sitting now. So that's going to be a little bit different for me. And we're all over the internet. But that does not stop us from the hugs and the love and the community. Just like the Daily Word was talking about, we all gather together and we're all one. And the internet does not stop that process from happening. In fact, it probably allows us to really be more comfortable in our own environment, whether you're sitting in your living room or kitchen, whether you're outside on your patio, or someone may be in their car. It does not stop the connection, the oneness of this community and these groups of people. So I'd like to start really with that and to build a container of love and oneness that we are all a part of. I like what Carl Jung had said. He said that your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks inside of themselves and dreams will know and awaken. So I'd like to just do the meditation before my talk so that we can build that container and go into our heart chakra. We were last week, Deb was really gave a wonderful talk about the heart and the heart chakra. So I'd like to continue that, the heart intelligence of love and compassion and appreciation. And we want to honor that. So if you guys want to all, sit back and relax. If you want to close your eyes, you can choose to do so. If not, you could feel free to do whatever keeps you centered in that sacred place of the heart. So let's just let go of last week and yesterday or whatever was going on in your life and just bring ourselves centered in our breath. And let's just take 3 cleansing breath to release all that was. So breathe on your own, whatever rhythm you want. You breathe in And then release. And you can release with the sound of ah. And release knowing that the breath of God flows in and through every cell and fiber of your body. And you release any pain and any body sensations that you may have. In the second breath you take in and release with ah. You're, you're energizing your field, your energy field, because we are energetic beings made in the likeness of spirit, of God, and God is spirit. And we are made in his likeness. And take another deep breath and release it, knowing that I of myself can do nothing. It is the consciousness inform the body and feel the spirit that manifests here on earth. And now that you're all relaxed, I'd like to take you on a journey. And I'd like to take you to the sacred island of Kauai. I've been there. And there's a particular river called the Wahili River. And we're going to take a journey. So as you walk down the docks, you're going to enter a canoe, and you have a guide there that's going to help you in. And as you sit comfortably, you can feel the rocking of the boat. And you have others that are joining you. They may be in their home, they may be in their gardens, they may be in a different state, another city, but we're all going on this adventure, this journey together through the rainforest. And as your guide pushes the boat off onto the river, the middle of the river, you could feel it swaying, pulling you forward in peace, in harmony. As you enter the river and the forest, you can feel the breath of nature, the coolness of water touching your face. And as you go deeper, you see the beautiful plants, the tropical plants of all colors, the bright yellow and purple and fuchsia, the flowers that are so deep, the leaves that are deep green. And as you go along this journey, you go deeper into the rainforest, deeper into that part of you which is of the nature of all, that part of you, of your heart. And you come to a landing, and your guides allow you and help you out. And you walk a short distance into the forest, into the deep forest. And then there is a sacred place where the Hawaiians have always come to honor nature and honor themselves. And with your fellow companions, you form a circle. And it is the circle of the heart chakra. You reach out and you take the person's hand. Your right hand takes the person's hand. Simultaneously, your left hand holds the person next to you. And in this sacred circle of the heart, we know that we are beaten as one, that the intelligence of the heart and the oneness of humanity connects us all. And we create this sacred place so that we can open our minds and share our thoughts with the person next to us. And we are one. And our guides are with you, guiding us, taking care of us, creating a sacred place of safety where we can nurture ourselves and grow. This healing circle, we honor ourselves, and not only ourselves, we call in all others. We call in all the people that have chose to join us on Facebook Live. We call in all of the people that are here and all of the people that would see this video in the future, because there is no time constraint. All is in the now. And I'd like everyone to take a moment and call in not only their guides and their higher self, but also people that they wish to be in this healing circle, to be in this circle of growth. And we'll do that. I call in my son and my sisters. And as we have called in other people, we now can open our eyes and be open to new ideas so that our ears can hear. Our mind is open to receive because we are in that loving place of the heart and the heart chakra. Thank you. Okay, I'm assuming that we're all here and awake. I'll give you a second maybe to take a breath and just reposition yourselves and get ready for something new. So I really thank Melinda for giving me this particular subject on responsibility. I was actually reading Paul Selig's book, Known and Worth, and I was in the particular chapter, I was rereading it on responsibility, because that's a tough area. You know, when you realize that you are responsible for everything that you create out in life. So I thought several times, maybe I'll go to another topic or not, but it kind of stuck with me. So I thank you, Melinda. So, you know, the first thing I'd like to address is really what is responsibility. Um, According to the dictionary, it's not, it's a being, it's a way of being. And it's not that you have to be, you have to take on a responsibility consciousness. It's who you are. It's when you become um, accountable. But accountability is a little bit different because accountability is measurable, whereas being responsible is a way of being. And in this particular context, the way of being is who you are, who you choose to be through your consciousness. Your consciousness is your thoughts, your experiences, everything that you know um, that you've been through. And that particular big word consciousness is so important to be responsible for, because you are the thinker of your thoughts. You are the one that engages the intellect, your consciousness, and it is who you become in the world. It's your reflection of the mirror that you hold in front of you. And because of that, being responsible to your consciousness is extremely important, because it holds your expression. You know, it's always, your expression is always a reflection of your consciousness, and your consciousness is born, like I said, in what you know, what you hold, what you may hold sacred, or what you may hold that you don't want to be a part of, and your belief system. And when you take responsibility for all of your creation, you have a paradigm shift out of limitation, out of fear. You move from fear to consciousness, fear to that higher vibration. So being responsible is really important. So, but I also want to warn you, it's not fearful. A lot of people think, oh, I'm responsible for everything. I'm responsible for everything that I bring to me. The thing about this is that when you are responsible, you can choose differently. You are in control. You are accountable to all of the things that you do. So, for example, if you want to say, I'm nervous, you're going to hold a frame for your consciousness that you're going to be nervous. But when you have responsibility to choose something differently, you can choose that I am at peace. And then you hold that as you go along in life. So you can make these claims of the I am. You know, I am smart. You know, you could say, I am at peace. I am nervous. You could, anything that you attach your I am to claims. You could claim that you're happy. You can, complain that um, if something happened in a relationship, you can complain that you're a victim. Or you can be responsible for what you're claiming and choose a higher worth of your claim. Instead of I'm a victim, you could choose to learn and say, I have learned that I am going to be peaceful. I'm going to be assertive. I'm going to be. So when you are in control of your or responsible for your particular consciousness, you get to choose. It's kind of like what, Deb has been going through the different chakras, and you have the energy and you have the intellect for all of that, but it's now time to be responsible, to become the heart chakra, to become whatever you choose in your responsibility. So you get to claim that. So you get to claim your worth. And as you accelerate your vibration with the different heart chakras, you're going to call to yourself new experiences. As you move up, you're going to have new possibilities that you can create for yourself in that new vibration, in that new area that you're lifting yourself with. So it's really important that we take responsibility for everything in our consciousness. And like I said, there's no regrets. There's nothing to be frightened of, because when you take responsibility, you're free. You have the choice to deal with any situation one way or the other. It makes you accountable in whatever way you believe. And, so you have authority. So you have control and authority. So, for example, a lot of people would say when you have authority is different than responsibility. So, for example, I'll give you an example, is that you can say, um, do you create the sunset? And some people would say, no, the sun goes up and down. Well, you do create the sunset, because in your consciousness, you get to choose the authority in how you perceive it. So you may have a beautiful red sunset and you say that's beautiful. But if you think of someone that says, oh, it's like overcast and it's rainy and you could just barely see the sun, one person may perceive that as saying that it's not a very beautiful sunset. But if there was someone that had been locked away in a house or for 2 years or whatever and was sick for a couple of months, and they came out and they saw that overcast sky, just looking and being outside, they may perceive that particular sunset as beautiful. So everyone has the authority. Once you take responsibility of your consciousness, you get to perceive and you have the authority of claiming whatever you want in your life. So it's really important that you're careful of being aware. And that's what this whole chapter is about, is being aware and being responsible for your energy, for your consciousness, for your perceptions. And that's the responsibility that we are all given to. And the thing is that you can choose to be responsible and not always get what you want, because responsibility does not always mean that you have control. So we can't control when the sun is rising or when it's going down to the horizon, but we do have authority with how we perceive it. And you could take this out, the same concept goes in every part of your life. For example, relationships. I had mentioned that, let's say if you're in a relationship and someone leaves you, the other person leaves you, you get to have you get your authority on how you're going to deal with that. You're going to get your authority to say, well, that you're really sad or you're depressed, or you could be aware of your authority, your choices. Go into being responsible to lift that consciousness to say, maybe this is the best. Let me wonder what may come of this. You can't control the other person. You can never control another person, but you do have authority on your perceptions. And that's what you're responsible for. So you're never able to control it, but you do have authority over that. And the perception that you have is yours. You're free to create anything that you want in terms of your consciousness. You're free to lift your consciousness. But the warning is you still have ramifications for choice. So you can't really say that if you get a parking ticket, it's just going to go away because you have claimed your authority and your wisdom over it. We still live in this world that we're responsible for. So when you're, honestly take that parking ticket, you could pay it, and you do have authority to choose not to pay it. But there's going to be a ramification or a consequence with all choices that you make. So it goes back that when we choose at any time from moment to moment to moment, we're always at choice. And you get to choose whether you're going to lift in higher consciousness or you're going to stay low in having your way. Sometimes the ego wants to have its way because it's hurt, or it just wants to get back. Eckhart Tolle puts it like a pain body. That when we're in pain, we want to strike out to others in pain. We want them to feel our pain, to feel what we're going through. And that's very, very common. That's just a normal human reaction. But when you're responsible for all of your choices, you get to choose not to strike out in pain. You always get to choose love. You always get to choose peace. And you always get to go higher on a higher level with your consciousness as opposed to striking out. So there are ramifications for choice. We don't get to control everything, but we do get to have our way. So, what does that mean in terms of your spirituality? You know, everyone um, gets to move out of worry, everyone gets to move out of fear. It's only a choice, because nothing will change without your higher permission from your higher level. So it does take time to stop and don't just automatically blurt out what the mind wants to do for survival. Don't automatically blurt out what the mind wants to do to get back at someone or to go into fear, to protect yourself. If you take a breath and take your time and just go back into your breath and consult your higher self and maybe choose a different path. So it's kind of like slowing down time so that you can choose what you want and what direction you want to go into. And am I saying it's easy? No, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. So I want to tell you one of the things I love doing is that I, I always say I am not the sage on the stage. I'm more of a guide on the side. And that guide for me is to always share what I went through, what I've experienced, and so that you can learn to it. And I will tell on myself. I have no humility sometimes. And so this is what happened to me recently. A couple of weeks ago, responsibility. I've been reading this chapter, and the thing is, you can have things in your head, but it's really the experiential that affects us all, that really hones in and makes it our own. So I was over a friend's house, and actually a neighbor who has been sick, and she just got out of the hospital, and her husband is had to go to a nursing home, so she's been by herself. So I've been going over to visit her. Well, one day I go over, and her dog bit me. I don't know if it was a scratch or a bit, but bit me right in my face. And this is a dog that I've known for about 2 or 3 years. And actually, it's a dog that I like and I play with. So it was like totally out of character. But it alarmed me because it had cut my face and it was bleeding. And my neighbor, she's like very connected to this dog right now. She's lonely. Immediately said, "Don't worry, he has his shots. You're going to be fine." Now, I'm a nurse, mind you, and I knew that I should at least go and get it checked out. But she was kind of upset. So I turned my authority over to her because, dog bites, they want them reported. She was afraid. She was willing to pay for anything that would cost me. But I, out of my wisdom, knew that I should go to the doctor or go to the ER or go to urgent care, but have someone look at it. I did not do that. Thought, oh, it's just a little. little cut, it'll be okay. 2 or 3 days later, it was a little red spot. I'm like, oh, what is that? Thought it would go away. The next morning, it was flaming. The whole side of my cheek was just flaming. So where was my responsibility? I knew in my wisdom that I should have went, even as a nurse, I should have went and got this, but I turned my authority over to someone, not thinking, not being responsible. I ended up having to go on 4 different types of antibiotic because it had started going into my eye socket, the redness, and they were scared that it was seriously infected. Well, it was, I had to do 4 different types of antibiotics, and it all went away. But the gift that gave me with reading this chapter and that experience, because everything that comes to us is a learning experience. So what I learned from that is that even though I knew in my wisdom I should have went to the ER or to urgent care, I defaulted to someone else. And I was not being responsible. Eventually, when I went to the ER, they did ask about the dog bite, and I did not give them the information, and the dog was protected. But I was not being responsible, and that was a mistake, because we don't always, as spiritual beings, we are pulled constantly by our emotions, by our everything that's coming to us through our five senses, what people are saying to us, what's on the news, the arguments on the news. We're so pulled into our environment that we don't always take responsibility to keep ourselves on that high plane of who we know we are, and to be to that spiritual plane of not getting hooked into everything. And it's very easy to do because we come to church on Sundays, we may do something in the middle of the week. We And when you're even over Zoom, if you listen to something, your consciousness is there and you say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to, really keep my consciousness high. I'm going to be responsible for moving my energy up through each chakra. But then life happens. So, this right now, this talk on responsibility is for you to transform that. There's a lot happening out there in the world, whether COVID, the race relations, whether you should wear a mask, the political event that's going on, and it could all pull you off a track. But you are the only one that is fully responsible for what is in your consciousness. And that's not an easy task. As I demonstrated, I should have done what I needed to do, but I didn't. And we go into agreement with the things around us. So it's really important for us to take responsibility. Once you realize that you are responsible for everything in your life, that you are co-creator with the universe, and your thoughts have actions. Your thoughts are declarative. And then when you speak them out into the ethers, they're that much more declarative because you may have spoke something into someone else's listening, and they go into agreement. So it's really important that we take the time and we center ourselves and slow down, just like the COVID has taught us to isolate, to slow down, to seek different things, but you need to know yourself and understand yourself that you are responsible for everything. So, how you treat yourself, how you think about yourself, so you decide, what you're going to do on your own behalf. And you're also doing in accord with your fellows. So, because like we talked about togetherness and we created our container, we are all one and we are all connected. So we also have not only responsibility to ourselves, we also have responsibility to our fellow men and women that we're with. Now, that does not mean that you control them, it means that you lift them. So, going back to my example, my neighbor, you know, was very upset. She had just got out of the hospital. Her husband was in a nursing home and she was lonely. So, my responsibility to her was not to default to me not going to, you know, the emergency room or to care about that she's going to have her dog. My responsibility to her was to lift her energy, see her whole, see her complete. If, to pray for her, to, to do this in my own times and to pray with her. But my responsibility to her and to all of humanity is to lift, to see beyond what we're are visually seeing, what we're hearing on the news, what we are being bombarded with. All of that stuff that we're being bombarded with, we need to say, no, that's not my thought system. My thought system is harmony, peace, love, and then take the time to reconnect with that heart center within you and that love within you, that compassion within you, so that you can transmute that out into the world so that you could add that energy to the collective consciousness. That's our responsibility when to our fellow man. We can't constantly physically take care of them because remember, responsibility is a way of being. It is who you truly are when you know that you are co-creator with the universe, when you know that you are the aspect of the divine on earth, when you hold that heavenly energy down on earth, all of the stuff that we want to put in the back of our minds and not really express on a continuum basis. It's too easy with the TV. It's too easy with someone telling you to be frightened. We could be frightened of many things, but it's for you to lift and to be responsible for your consciousness, whether you're moving up through the chakras, whether you're sitting in the heart chakra, but it is so important for us, especially this time. There's a lot going on, and we could add that sacred thought into the collective consciousness from our homes, from, when we're out walking in nature and just going into our heart center because that's what we're gifted with. So now, usually when I do these talks, I usually give you some tools. And I really thought about the tools of responsibility, and most of it really was being awareness, because you have to be you have to be in your awareness of your responsibility. But responsibility is not something that anyone can impose on you. It's your way of being. Whereas accountability and awareness are things that are kind of measurable and you can do. So I don't have any tools for you, at this point. I got a couple of questions, for you to think about, that you are gifted. One of the questions is knowing and being in tune with your ability to learn. How often are you taking the time to honor your ability to learn, your ability to see? How often are you seeing things beyond what the physical world is saying? What are you hearing beyond what the physical world, the manifest world, has you hearing? Are you moving beyond your ability to know that there's something more? Are you maintaining your high vibration? Are you making your claims in your dominion? Are you making your claims in a higher way? Do you know who you are? Do you know that you are the breath of the universe? That you are the one that is bringing that breath on earth that you could speak through? Do you know what you are thinking? Are you aware of that? Are you using your imagination? All of these things can lead into being more responsible of who and what you are. And like I said, responsibility, it's really not anything more than your beingness. So it's you taking taking the impetus, you being the thought, you being the responsible, well, I don't want to use responsible, but um, being the cause, the first cause in what you want to do, being um, just being the one, the impetus, the critical heart is you taking, knowing that that's who you're being and choosing that, and all else will come into line. Let me see if I missed anything that I wanted to say. Um, nope, I gave you those questions. Yes. I just really want to close with, um, and I'll come back and do a blessing after uh, Lori's next song, but I just really wanted to let you know that you are the cause, that you are the catalyst for being responsible. And when you are 100% responsible, when you take responsibility for everything in your life, you have freedom because you have a choice on how you want to deal with it. You have a choice on what you want to create, what you want to recreate, what you want to get rid of, because you are in control of your consciousness. And you get to lift anytime you want, on any occasion. You get to invoke whatever you claim. Just be careful because you still have responsibility to the choices, to the negative choices. And thank you for allowing me to share my heart and be with you guys. And I'll turn it over to Lori and I'll come back with a blessing.
This was one of Gloria's favorite songs. We thought it would be nice to play it today. In the morning of my life, I shall look to the sunrise. At a moment in my life when the world is new, and the blessing I shall ask is that God will grant me be brave and strong and true, and to fill the world with love my whole life through. In the meantime of my life, I shall look to the sunshine at a moment in my life when the sky is blue, and the blessing I shall ask shall remain unchanging, to be brave and strong and true, and to fill the world with love my whole life through, and to fill the world with love, and to fill the world with love, and to fill the world with love my whole life through. In the evening of my life, I shall look to the sunset at a moment in my life when the night is due, and the question I shall ask only God can answer: was I brave and strong and true? Did I fill the world with love my whole life through? And to fill the world with love, yes, to fill the world with love, and to fill the world with love my whole life through. Did I fill the world with love? Did I fill the world with love? Did I fill the world with love my whole life through?
Wow. How appropriate. Lori, thank you. That was just simply beautiful. Brave, strong, and true. And to be responsible, to be brave, to be responsible, to be strong. After everything may, try and pull us away from that, and to be true to ourselves and fill the world with love. To be responsible for that, to bring that into the collective consciousness is truly, truly a gift. Thank you for the choice of that song. I love it, and I love hearing you. And I did not know that it was one of Gloria's favorite. So I just want to send everyone on their way along with that song. And, just think about, the week to come, and take whatever you heard in our sacred container with our open heart, and take it forward. Take it forward to other people. Take it forward in your own thoughts. Take it forward in your community. This community has blessed Toledo so graciously with so much love. And I'd like to end with a story. It's about an eagle, and it's how they soar. And did you know that an eagle can foresee when a storm is approaching long before it breaks? And instead of hiding, eagles will fly to some high point and wait for the winds to come. When the storm hits, it sets its wings so that the wind can pick it up and lift it above the storm. When the storm is raging below, the eagle soars above it. The eagle does not escape or hide from the storm. Instead, it uses the storm to lift it higher. It rises on the storm's wind when others dread the wind. When the storm of life or challenges hit us, we can rise above them and soar like the eagle. I'm trying to move this down for the rest of the story. Sorry. We can rise above the challenges and soar like the eagle, which rides the winds of the storms. So don't be afraid of the storm or the challenges you face in life. You know, there's a lot going on now. Don't be afraid of it. Use it to lift you higher in your life. Take responsibility. As you claim this, you step forward and you are responsible to all that you see before you. You have dominion. Dominion is the responsibility of your creation. Thank you and have a beautiful, beautiful week.
Okay, go ahead.
Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
Thank you, Pat, for today's talk. And thank you, Lori and John, for the beautiful music. And thank you all who joined us today for being here. And we look forward to gathering with you again next Sunday. Have a safe and blessed week. Now we are going to take a quick break. Grab yourself a drink, and we hope that you can stay and talk with us.